Alrighty, welcome back. Another episode of Post-Fades and Cheesesteaks with your hosts Dakota and Tim, and we are on a three-game Eagles winning streak. So our spirits very good right now.
Unbelievable.
Yankees almost got swept. I almost had a thrilling weekend, but
Yeah. You
to
take
be
what you
fair
can get,
though,
man.
as much as I hate the Yankees, I don't want to see a World Series where there's a sweep because that's not fun. So I'm
But you know
glad
what's
they
fun?
won, but.
Back-to-back double digit wins for the Eagles.
That is true.
I haven't seen that since
Super
2022
Bowl,
when we were in the
Super Bowl year,
playoffs.
probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like nearly a year and a half. I gotta say, the best they've ever looked, I think, in a year and a half since the Super Bowl. The way they looked yesterday was better than anything they did last year. At any game you want to pick in that 10-game winning streak, they were better that yesterday than they were in any game. They looked like a good team. Things just didn't fall in their lap. They were looked like a good team.
They're clicking.
It was very, very nice. Which I mean, even more hats off. I know everyone's ready to fire Nick, and it's a week to week kind of thing. But give credit to the coaches, man. Because it did not look pretty. That was start of that game. I thought, oh, here we go.
I
This
mean,
is
the Bengals had a
getting exposed.
10-minute drive, and I was like,
Yeah,
okay, here we fucking go. I mean, I expected, but like I expected the Bengals to come out firing because like they needed this one more than the Eagles did. But
yeah.
for them to, you know, match what the Bengals did back and forth, um, and then like in my head, I was like, all right. As long as we, can tie at half and then get the ball back, like that's some good, momentum. They did that, and then the rest was history because I think it was what, 17 and a half, and then after
Yeah,
that
that's
they
the crazy
20
part,
20
man. We
unanswered.
they completely took over that second half. Like it
Defense
really
adjusted incredibly.
that's what I mean. Coaching, like, man, they were not the same team. That first quarter, that looked like a bad Eagles team. That looked like the Eagles team we had seen this season.
Yeah,
Second quarter, you saw improvements, and then the second half was a team I haven't seen in 2 years.
I
It
mean
was incredible.
the only one that was doing anything to them was really Mike Gesicki, and he was pretty
Yeah.
quiet after in the fourth quarter. But I mean, hats off. I mean, two players for me, I couldn't be more ecstatic. Cooper DeJean in the slot
Oh
and
man.
Quinion Mitchell on outside corner. Man, round of applause. Two rookies, absolutely balling. I know DeJean had one play where he got beat. I think it was Gasecki, like beat him with like it was like a broken play.
The
So he,
scramble one, yeah, that he took,
yeah. And
yeah,
I
the
was
little
like, all
shuttle
right,
pass,
he's a
yeah.
rookie. That's it's tough to figure out what you're supposed to do there sometimes. But that fourth and one tackle on Jamar Chase. That's
One of the best players in the NFL.
That's big time. That's baller.
Yeah.
Like that is huge.
He made a play like that in
Huge.
what was it, the Giants game or the Browns game? He made like a big stop to prevent, I think it was the Browns game, to
Mm.
prevent a touchdown in the red zone. It was similar, but I mean it wasn't against Jamar Chase because there isn't many Jamar Chases in the league.
Yeah. Yeah.
It like I mean, I was so impressed. They came out firing, scored on the first drive. That was then the Bengals came back. It was 17-17. Game was very much in hand. They
Hmm.
had that really long drive. They took the lead. They had multiple turnovers. Unbelievable. The pick was beautiful. I mean, I say Rogers got me really excited now. And then I mean the fumble was just cherry on top. The game was over at that point, but it's just great to see the ball being turned over. We rarely ever see it.
Yeah. And we would be remiss not to give some flowers to a very deserving player named Jalen Hurts.
Oh yeah.
Completely has upped his game, whether it's he's more comfortable now in this offense or he's just seeing things better. I mean, he's got his receivers back healthy, which obviously helps. But first four games of the year, obviously we had 2-2 record. He was averaging 7 yards per attempt. He had six touchdowns and seven turnovers and an 85 passer rating. Last three games, 3-0, 10.4 yards per attempt, four touchdowns, or excuse me, nine total touchdowns, zero turnovers, and 127 passer rating. So he is playing much better. And arguably, I mean, Browns and Giants have like statistically one of the best defenses so far. I know they're not beating people, but their defense
They're a bad team.
is
Yeah, their
solid.
defense is
Browns
solid.
have a
Yeah.
solid defense, and the Bengals have a good defensive line. And our banged up offensive line, with Fred Johnson out here, I making a name for
I,
himself.
I mean,
But
yeah, that's what makes it even more impressive is you have injuries. Obviously you got through a lot of them already. Brown's back. Smith missed a couple game or missed a game. Same with Lane. Things are they're healthy. They've played enough games together. They're clicking. I give credit to the scheme. I was really hard on Kellen Moore last week about Devontae Smith not existing. And then dude is just he's so good. That catch for that touchdown was just
oof.
amazing. Like he's such a small, skinny guy and goes up like he's 8 foot tall and ripped.
Oh
And he
yeah,
just comes down with it.
he's a
He's
baller.
so good. And credits to the scheme. I thought it was a good play call. You've been
They
running the ball on him all game. Take the deep shot. You had Devontae single coverage. Man went up, beautiful pass, and he went and made a play. And that's what you want to see.
I saw a couple plays where like some play actions where they weren't like super aggressive play actions, but it allowed for Jalen to move out of the pocket by design. Now, how a lot of times like he forces himself out of the pocket because he gets
Yeah.
antsy. Like these plays that they were calling were like working really well. And surprise, surprise. What is the key to winning in the NFL? Running the ball. And we have been running the ball
Hmm.
super well. Second in the league in rushing yards, I think per game or total or whatever. But Saquon's second in the league in rushing behind only Derrick Henry. And didn't both those players get called out for being like kind of washed and all this and that this past year? And now look at them. Studs on top of the world.
That is true. All I'm saying is off of our running backs episode, I look like a genius because Kyron Williams and Derrick Henry are both balling out.
Kyron Williams was god awful the first couple weeks, and he turned it around. But yeah,
He's doing pretty well right now. I think
yeah,
he's
he's
top.
got
I
like a
think he
couple
was.
touchdowns in a row.
I was just saying. I think he was second in the league until Saquon's played. But regardless, enough with the Rams. Let's keep talking basking in the glory. You know what the other thing I'm really excited for the Eagles is the defense seems like they're gelling. The young guys are stepping up. Nolan Smith was making some plays. Like seeing him there, like I think
He's
we
getting a
get
feel for it.
so like impatient so quickly. Like a guy like Nolan Smith, we knew needed some time. Like a guy like Nakobe Dean hadn't really. This is basically his rookie season.
Hmm.
Like we kind of expect them to be great out the get go because there are these draft picks and they're high and this and that. Things are starting to blend. Things are starting to gel together. They're making plays. I like the scheme. You've already touched on the running the ball, which is huge. Now that we look at this, they ran the ball quite a bit their Super Bowl year.
Hmm.
They forgot how to run the ball last year.
Of
And
course.
then this year they seem committed to it. Nick takes a lot of heat, but we also know Nick is kind of a backseat coach. Doesn't seem to get
He's a rah-rah
as
guy.
yeah, he's definitely a rah-rah guy. This probably is the scheme that sticks. Like, can I expect us to keep running the ball like this going forward?
I would like to say yes, but I know this team hates us, and they will
It's the
probably.
identity.
Yeah, I mean but it's working, and it's you can see when Jalen is asked to do like less, he's able to make better plays because he's able to he doesn't feel maybe it's the pressure or whatever, but like when it's not even balanced. It's like we're running the ball more, which I think is
Yeah,
just it's just benefiting everybody. Like the line. I would assume if you have an injured offensive line, it's better to run the ball than to rely on them to pass protect. Because I feel
of
like
course.
most linemen are better at run blocking than they are pass blocking. Um, but I don't know. I would love for them to continue this. The only weird stats that I didn't like about this game, the Bengals were killing us on third down, especially in the first half.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
third and 22, I wanted to rip my eyes out. I
yeah,
cannot believe
yeah.
that
That was
happened.
tough.
And strangely enough, we won by 20, and they didn't punt a single time, the Bengals. Isn't that weird?
Well, two turnovers helps. I mean,
That's true.
also holding the ball for as long as we held the ball for. I mean, we had one drive that was like 11 minutes long.
Yeah, we had
That was after the interception.
I don't remember who forced the fumble.
A
Um,
bomb.
oh, he forced the fumble. Okay. Yeah, and then Isaiah Rogers came in for an injured Slay, made a great tip pass, and CJ finally held onto a ball, and Quinion almost had his first interception. He's every game, man. Every game he's
He's close
close.
to. Yeah,
This
but you
week
know
is the
what?
week
The
because
young
Trevor
guys,
Lawrence is coming to town.
he
So
looked good. I mean, I saw he was matched up on Jamar Chase a couple times, and he looked good on him. Like they were, especially when Slay got hurt, the young guys were out there and they were balling. I wouldn't even say the Bengals really played bad. Like I don't
They
I like the Bengals looked
they just ran out of
solid.
gas.
The first half they look good. Then yeah, they started. I mean, it was 17-17 in the third quarter. We went on that long drive. They had a couple turnovers. But for how lopsided this game was, I really don't think the Bengals were really that bad. I just think we were just killing it. We were just firing on all cylinders. We would have beaten anyone that game. There, everything was clicking. There was no issues with anything. I really have like zero criticism. This is one of the few games where I have nothing. I thought everyone did an amazing job. It was beautiful. Poetry in motion.
Yeah. I was trying to find. Oh, here it is. Quinion Mitchell so far. He's allowed 19 catches in 7 games, 55% completion allowed, 6 pass breakups, 9 forcing completions, no touchdowns, 79 pass rating. I forget. There's another. Where did he rank? I forget I saw like a better
I
image
mean,
that
those are
kind of.
just raw stats right there. Those are pretty impressive for a rookie
Yeah,
corner
but I
coming
mean,
in the league.
even this past game, he was against Jamar. I mean, two targets, 2 catches, 12 yards. They're not even throwing to his side. So what
No.
are they going to throw?
I mean, that
That's why
was
the
when
tight ends
Darius
getting
Slay,
work because you're not
man,
throwing to
that's
Slay
when
either.
Slay got hurt too. Slay was gone for half the game.
Slay will get hit every now and again for like a deeper ball where he can't keep up anymore with his speed, but I still think like people give. I feel like
Oh, he
people
can play.
here.
No, no, Slay's good.
Yeah, but Philly fans give him a lot of shit. I don't know if it's because what he says sometimes, but y'all need to be grateful. We had cornerback misery for years, uh, and we finally got. I mean, you want Byron Maxwell back? You want Nnamdi
No, oh
Asomugha
yeah,
back,
goddamn
or
no. I don't even want James Bradbury back.
you want James
I think
Bradley?
his
I forgot he was
I
on the
think
team.
I I think it comes more with like he's kind of like the captain. Like, look at your veteran guys. Cox is gone. It's Graham. It's Slay.
And
Obviously, no one is ever going to say a bad word about Graham because
Graham's
we love
been
him, and
incredible.
he's the best edge rusher on the team. And
Insane. He
I
was like, "Yeah, I'll come by. I'll help out the team again this year." Like, no, bro, you're getting it. You're
You're
starting.
number
We
one.
need
Yeah, you're
you.
number one guy here. Although I'm confident with Nolan Smith. He's giving me a lot more credit. The Bengals offensive line stinks, but
Yeah.
I'm seeing more from him. Like I'm seeing him in plays more often. Still looks like he's pretty raw, but the guy's athletic. You see him moving quite a bit, and he's
I'd
quick.
I'd like for the Jaguars game to be a big defensive game for them. Because I think they got a lot of Jags are dealing with quite a bit of injuries. Brian Thomas Jr. might not even play. They lost Christian Kirk. Your UCF great Gabe Davis is injured as well. He might play. Their line is injured. So this is the
That
time
team's a
for the defense
disaster.
to make some plays. So
If you can listen, you should. The Jaguars are a very bad team.
mm.
You should be able to beat the Jaguars. You
They're wearing
should be
Kelly. They're
six
wearing
and
Kelly
two.
Green this week, so they almost. It's on all.
You're
You can
bringing
pencil it
Doug
in.
back. You
Yeah,
know,
you can
Doug's coming
pencil that in.
back.
Yeah.
6 and 2, and then you play the Cowboys.
Now that's what I was gonna say. It could be a trap game because they could be looking forward to the Cowboys. But and after Dallas, we
Nah,
go
I can't.
Thursday night against Washington. That's a huge game. So
That's why you know what you got to win the Jags. You got to win that Cowboys game because that Washington
yeah,
game on Thursday night is going to be tough. That's not going to be an easy game,
I
especially coming off of a huge game against Dallas. That is the trap game. Washington is the game that's going to be tough for them to rally up and get behind.
as an Eagles fan, I actually do enjoy the Jane Daniels story. It's very much CJ Stroud of last year, but I'm still not so like I think they're good. I think they're competitive, and I think I said when we did our preview episode, I was like, I think they will compete for a wild card, but ultimately they won't be that great. I'm still not sold on them. I
I
know they
think
put up
Daniels is good. I don't think their team is good.
their defense is gonna fall. Like their defense is being in the same way that Dallas' defense is falling apart without crap, what's his name?
Parsons.
No, who's the D coordinator?
Oh, Dan Quinn, the coach of the
Yeah.
Commanders.
Yeah, without Dan Quinn and now Dan Quinn's coaching the Commanders and obviously that defense is playing much better. But yeah, I don't know.
Be-
I think they'll make the wild. I think they'll make the playoffs just based on how the NFC is kind of unfolding. I mean, we might
Oh,
have
they'll be.
NFC North might have all the playoff spots, but
It's true. Yeah, they look pretty good. You know what? Talking on defense coordinators, You gave a little, I was giving Fangio a little bit more flowers last week, saying I
Uh-huh.
saw the pieces in the right place. Where did you think about Big Man Vic now? Because it seems like the young guys are growing into the roles that he needs them to be in.
Well, I mean, it took cream, screaming, crying, and throwing up to get DeJean in there for Vontae Maddox, but um,
You know,
I
he's
think
so washed.
he's showing the ability to adjust. Um, Honestly, it's crazy. I think if you flush that Buccaneers game, the defense has been pretty good.
It has
Um,
been pretty good.
all things considered. I mean, if you look up, I mean, defensive stats can be a little misleading sometimes, but we're top 10 in a lot of defensive categories right now. So I
Oh,
think,
I mean, yeah.
I mean,
Look
we
at
haven't played juggernauts offensively, but we just played the Bengals, who have a top five quarterback, a top five wide receiver. So, I think we did pretty damn well.
listen. The Bengals
Especially
are
after that
definitely
10-minute drive.
the Bengals can definitely score points. The
Hmm.
Falcons have scored many points
Oh
since we
yeah.
played them.
Oh yeah.
They held them to what? Was it 17? It was a low 20, maybe something low. Obviously,
Honestly,
there was the touchdown,
the only
10
team
seconds, but
offensively that I'm scared of in the
the
NFC is
Packers,
the Lions.
there's the
Lions are the
Packers
only
another.
team
I
that
mean, I
scares
know
me.
that was week one, but that was week one for us too. But remember all the turnovers? We kept the Packers out of the end zone. The
Yep.
Falcons, up until the last 10 seconds of the game, they played really well on defense. And then obviously they got the brakes blown off them by the Bucks. And listen, Saquon Barkley makes one catch. It's a
We're
completely
six
different
and
scene.
one.
And your one loss is on a game before the bye
Where half the team
at
was
as
injured.
Tampa. Yeah, and half the team was injured. So
Yeah.
really that Saquon Barkley catch happens, season's completely different. But I think we're back on the good vibes. I think we're back
Yeah.
onto they're not a Super Bowl team right now, but they
No.
are a good team.
No. I mean, only when the Eagles are doing well do I watch ESPN. And so I was watching First Take, and Stephen A. the other day he had his top five NFL teams as of right now, and he had the Eagles at number five. I think that's a little high,
I think
but
that's a little high.
it's good to see because I feel like the media didn't really talk about the Eagles this week because of what happened in the Commanders game. But yeah, I mean again we need to see. I think the schedule actually is getting harder. We thought this would be the easier part of the schedule, but it's looking a little hard. I mean, Dallas is kind of a mess right now.
You should be able to beat
Um,
Dallas.
but
And the
it's a
Jaguars the
divisional game.
last easy game. And then you go on that tough stretch because then we have the Ravens, Washington, obviously.
Yeah.
But that's all right because you seem like you're clicking now. Like
Hmm.
if you can be clicking now and go into this tough part, listen, this is when you really prove who you are. I up the last 2 weeks when I was watching the Browns and Giants game, more so the Browns game, I thought I was watching two bad teams play each other.
Yeah.
Now this is I can confidently say this is a good team, which we all expected going into
Hopefully,
the year was the minimum.
hopefully it doesn't change after Sunday's results. But yeah, I'm feeling good about it. Um, I think we're seeing the a lot of like hidden gem players are playing well, like Bond.
Yeah,
Um,
bomb, great pickup.
I mean, having Isaiah Rogers step in, play corner in a quick backup role, and he did well.
Fred Johnson
Fred
got a shout out
Johnson,
to
another out
play.
of the nowhere
I don't
gem.
even know where he came from. Drafted free agent. I like they just put a guy named Johnson out there. I was like, all right, sure.
Yeah, most like generic name, Fred Johnson.
Yeah. You hate Calcaterra for some reason, but he continues to ball out.
I hate Calcaterra because he is not a tight end. He's a wide receiver that is built like a tight end. But I will say his
Yeah.
run after the catch and his separation as a receiver is really good. I've been impressed. But as a blocker, he's absolute dog shit. He should never block
Yeah.
ever.
That's why
I mean, they
him and
have Van
Stoll play
Sumer playing
together.
fullback because that's how bad Calcaterra is at blocking a tight end. So,
Hey,
but
take the good with the bad.
yes, yes. Receiver wise, he looks really good. Blocker
Listen,
wise,
he's our number three wide receiver at this point. Like we don't even
I
need
mean,
Dotson. Grant Calcaterra, I'm more confident as a third wide receiver than I am Dotson.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I mean, Anais Smith, I saw his jersey walking around the field, so he was suited up. Yeah, I'm still waiting on Dotson. I don't think he's ever gonna come
I'm giving up
around.
on that one. Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
saying
that's
goodbye.
pretty disappointing.
You know what? What'll be nice is I like that Calcaterra's getting involved while Goddard's out. What'll be really nice if you can bring back Goddard, put him in more of that blocking role, and
Mhm.
then, man, let him eat. Because if you put Goddard in that blocking tight end role, let everyone focus on Calcaterra as the pass catcher, and then pop out Goddard every once in a while on a pass play and just let him eat.
I mean, imagine this team running at full efficiency if you have, as a defender, you got to worry about AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, 1A and 1B, Saquon Barkley, Jalen Hurts could run at any time. And
Oh, that was
now
the whole dream.
and now Calcaterra is a viable pass option. So you got Calcaterra and Goddard on either side. You're like, who? If they are playing well and all the, cogs are moving, whatever a cog does, um, they'll look good. And we saw that against the Bengals. They had a rough beginning. They put it
That's
together.
true.
They started clicking. The defense adjusted.
Yep.
And, Bengals still had 10 of 13 on third down, which was, that's got to get fixed. But I'm curious to see this week, especially against a team that has some running backs. Because the last three games, we haven't played a team who can run the ball. So I'm curious to see, how we handle the Jags running the attack. I think ETN might play. It's been out a couple games, but Bigsby's been good for them. So we'll see. But overall, yeah, this team's headed in the right direction for sure. I
Good
think
vibes all around.
it makes it look like we were overreacting a little bit in the beginning, which typical Philly fashion. But I think also
I mean, no, no.
the
I thought it was fair.
expectations, yeah, the expectations are what they are, and they were not performing. And so taking 8 weeks to finally get the offense to get adjusted to a new scheme, I don't know if that's a reasonable amount of time, but hey, they look like they found something. So, but that's all I got on the birds for this week.
Listen, I'm all for it. I think you hit it on the head. My last note, exactly what I was saying last week about where was the offensive creativity? Why can we not move the ball outside of special plays by Brown and Barkley?
Hmm.
And the scheme, the system, the play calling this week, very balanced. They used what the Bengals were giving them. They ran the ball heavy. Devontae Smith was alive. Calcaterra was making plays. I was very, very happy with how everything played out.
Yeah.
Shout out to the coaches. Hell, shout out to Nikki, who's getting fired every week. Shout out to Nikki for pulling it together. And you know what? The Eagles, I don't usually see the Eagles bounce back after a tough start. Well, I guess they do that every game now. So
Yeah.
maybe I should rephrase that. But
It was
good
funny what
adjustments made.
it was funny watching as the time clocked down in the first quarter and they were driving. I'm like, they're not going to score before the first quarter again. But then they
Yeah.
obviously scored right at the start of the second. But who
Hey,
cares? Alrighty. Elsewhere around the league, we had a Thursday night game. The Rams beat the Vikings 30-20. So Vikings dropped to back-to-back games there.
real
Not
quick for you.
okay.
The Vikings are legit. Yes or no?
I still think they're legit.
Okay. I'm still on their bandwagon. I obviously the Lions are a good team. The Rams, I never got the selling vibe for them because I still think they're a good team. They're a good
I
coach
mean,
team.
they half their team was in the morgue, so
Oh
they're
well, look what happened. They brought back Puka and Cooper Cup, and they knocked off one of the best teams in the NFC. The
yeah,
whole trade rumors were dumb. This team is good.
yeah. I think both. I think the Rams could, depending on how the 49ers health goes, the Rams could still win that division. So,
Yeah.
but Packers beat the Jaguars 30-27. Jags actually looked good, but just couldn't finish in the end. Packers lost Jordan Love again, and Malik Willis, lo and behold, is a good quarterback all of a sudden. So
I mean, I think it helps a lot when you play the Jags, but the Packers are clicking. They're one team
they
that's really
are,
clicking right now.
they are. Cardinals stunned the Dolphins 28-27. Dolphins has pretty much dominated most of this game, and then the Cardinals came back. Marvin Harrison Jr. probably had his best game of his career as a rookie. Um, and I mean, Tua came back. He looked. I mean, obviously the Dolphins' offense was much more efficient, but every time he takes off and runs, you get a little squeamish. So
Yeah, they're passing it. They had two guys over 100 yards, McBride and Harrison, but they only had Connor had 53 yards on the ground on 20 carries. Like,
yeah,
jeez, man, talk about like one-sided game there.
yeah,
Although Martin Harrison did ball, you see him beat Jalen Ramsey pretty handily for
oh
that.
yeah.
Was it that touchdown?
Yeah, I love Jalen Ramsey, but him and Slay are kind of the same boat now, where they're like both older, not as fast as they used to be, and you can kind of see this struggling a little bit
I
here
mean,
and there, but they're still
it's
good
the
starters.
cycle of
But
life.
yeah, um, Un this game only just this just made me laugh. The Patriots beat the Jets 25 to 22.
The
Man,
Jets suck, man. They, you know what?
you don't even have to run a poll on who the most disappointing team of the season is. It's the Jets. Like, and we can blame.
Oh yeah.
Imagine if that was the Eagles for all
Oh my
the
God, we burn. Who do
all
you like? I was looking at the duds list, and obviously, there's like you always start with the Jets because they have a dud nearly
you
every
put the
week.
whole
So I always
roster on there.
start with the
Yeah.
Jets. But and I was thinking, obviously, Woody looks awful because he's like, look at what Woody's done. He fired his coach. He
Hmm.
eventually signed Reddick, gave him the money. He traded for Devontae Adams. Like he's completely taken over this team the last couple weeks, and it's got him nothing. But then you look at like you think like all these players and coaches that Aaron Rodgers wanted, like they aren't good. Randall
Mm.
Cobb and Allen Lazard stink.
Oh,
Denton, Nathaniel Hackett, we already know stinks.
I've been saying Lazard
The
sucks for
offensive
years.
lineman, like the offensive lineman that he wanted to play there, the big names like Tyrone Smith and what's the other guy's name? I can't remember. Like they all stink. They're all bad players. None of them are good. The
Hmm.
culture with the Jets isn't good. I feel like they just constantly defensively, I feel like they always think that they're so much better than they are. Like they just have that cocky swagger to them. Sauce Gardner, I've seen get cooked a lot this
He's
year.
not having a good year. I don't know what's wrong with him, but he's not having a good year.
I just, you know what? You know who I ultimately think is the problem with that team? I think it's Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, it
He's
is.
turned this
100%.
circus in because you know what? The circus would be
He's a
okay
ringleader.
if he was good, but he is not good. If he was Aaron Rodgers, MVP form of Aaron Rodgers, fine. You can bring on whatever one of your best friends that clearly suck at football. You can bring them in to play wide receiver.
Mm.
You can pick whatever buffoon you want calling the plays. Who cares? You can give this confidence our defense is going to suck off of even when they suck and they give up 25 points to the Patriots.
Mm.
And it's just Aaron Rodgers has ruined this team. And he was supposed to be the reason they were going to be good. And it is all just a complete failure.
Yeah. Yeah,
All the offensive
they
moves they wanted, they made for him, all stink. The defense got this cocky swagger that wasn't good enough to keep their coach's job. But,
I don't understand what they're on paper they're talented like we said last episode, but there's just nothing's working. Um and I love that every week Aaron Rodgers has somebody else to blame but himself.
exactly.
This week it was the media.
But this is the Aaron Rodgers
But
effect. Ever since he's left Green Bay, he's just become this own like his own brand.
oh, he
And
is,
like
yeah.
And this is the thing, like he just wields his control and his power to do whatever the hell he wants for the team, but he stinks.
Yeah.
There's certain quarterbacks when they're really good, they can pick and choose and do whatever the hell they want. But Aaron Rodgers is not one of them. He's got the power to, but he is not one of those guys.
No. No.
Stinks.
Yeah. Um so anyways, next game, obviously Eagles beat the Bengals 37-17. Tim, I hope you're ready to give me a round of applause. The Browns upset the Ravens 29-24. That's my bold prediction called run back to tape.
I
But
don't
that
know how
was,
you
I
got
mean,
that one.
the Ravens had it. They dropped an interception, they dropped a touchdown. Um, but yeah, I don't know what happened. The Jameis Winston effect. I mean, he threw like for 300 yards. That's why I told you last week
I
the Ravens defense has been a little iffy lately. So,
Dude, hats off, man. If your season wasn't going bad enough for Deshaun Watson,
oh
how
yeah,
about this?
he's not
The
coming
first
back.
season, the first game you're out, your backup that everyone's been calling for comes in and beats one of the best teams in the NFL. Like,
Not a good look.
yeesh.
Not a good look.
I mean, the Browns. It looks like they got life with Winston, so I don't think they're going to be like a top 10 draft pick. You never know, but
Eh.
I still have the belief if they're high enough, they're taking a quarterback. Even if they're not, man, I'd probably look for a different quarterback to roll out there. Just eat the money. When do you just look in the mirror and say, I'm just gonna eat the money because I want to win?
I mean, yeah, I think I said I think Watson's career is over. I don't, especially after another injury. Like I don't know how old
Yeah.
he is, but it's not
I
looking
mean,
good for
Aaron
him.
Rodgers is not making a great case for quarterbacks coming off Achilles injuries.
No, nope. Um, Elsewhere, with the Lions and the Titans, I think the Titans at one point were winning this game, but ultimately lost 52 to 14. Lions
Yeah,
are
just
the
crushing
the
teams.
stats in this game are absolutely insane because Jared Goff had 85 passing yards. They scored 52. He had 85 passing yards and three touchdowns on 12 throws, 12
It's
completions.
almost he nearly had as many yards as points in a way.
I don't I don't get it. I mean, yeah, Jimmy Gibbs had 127 yards. Montgomery got a score. Kutztown great. Craig Reynolds had three yards on a carry.
You know what's wild? Jared Goff fumbled the ball twice. He had two fumbles.
Hmm.
There's a lot of up and down in this game.
Um, yeah, it was weird. And Sam Laporta, of course, scored on National Tight End Day when I've never seen a more evident example of the NFL is scripted than there were
Oh, that was so annoying.
16 tight ends score touchdowns.
When Kyle Pitts gets
16
two
tight
touchdowns,
ends.
you know something's going on.
I think they said it was 177 catches by tight ends on tight end day. Like, why? How is that? How is
Yeah,
that?
good for them.
I
But
should have
yeah,
done a touchdown parlay on all tight ends.
it's true. Well, now you know for next year.
Hmm. But anyways, I lost track where I was going here. We had Colts lost a close one to the Texans 23 to 20. Um so Anthony Richardson had, I think it was in the third quarter, subbed himself out. I don't know if you saw this. He subbed himself
Hey,
out.
as you do. You're tired. You're not 100%, Dakota. You can't be out there.
He was he was tired. So subbed himself out. Then he went back in like a play or two later. Um, and then admitted to it in a press conference. Um, and then everyone lost their mind the next day. Media were ripping him. Players were like, "Yeah, you probably should have lied." And then I think yesterday it was announced that he is benched for Joe Flacco. So, I mean,
I mean,
he hasn't been good.
I don't like hate the move for the Colts. I mean, when they drafted him, everyone was like, this guy is so raw. Like he's
Oh yeah,
got
he
like
was
a
a
high
project.
school,
Yeah.
yeah. He's only 22.
Hmm.
I actually kind of like the move. Like he played a couple games, got hurt. He's been rough this year. Like you gotta let him play, but the Colts, it's unlike the Panther situation. The Colts like have a decent roster. Like I can understand why they still want to win. The Panthers stink. They were never gonna win, Dalton or not. Joe Flacco's brought a team and won a playoff game last year.
Yeah,
And yeah, I think if you're the coach, you have to think you win. But I think it helps Richardson a lot. Like he's played some games, he's made mistakes. Now, why don't you sit back and watch and then learn from it? I still think I still like Anthony Richardson. I think he's still got to progress, but he's just he's 22. The dude's gonna be fine. It's not like he's benched for the rest of his career.
yeah. I mean, and they're very much still in contention for the AFC
That's what I
uh
mean. I mean, it just you want to give your chance.
South.
You got a lot of veteran guys there. Michael Pittman just signed a huge deal, and Quentin Nelson and Ryan Kelly and these guys. I'm sure DeForest Buckner, like those guys, I'm sure would really like to win football games while they can.
That's true. Um, but yeah, Texans end up winning. I mean, I the Texans are still a playoff team, but they've not impressed me too much this year.
And lost Stephon Diggs.
They did lose Stephon Diggs for the year. But we'll see what they do in the playoffs. But um, the Falcons beat the Buccaneers 31 to 26. All those injuries for the Bucks looks like it might cost them. I think the Falcons are probably gonna end up taking that division, but it's still we're only halfway through the season. But Chargers beat the Saints 26 to 8. So I think we can say the Saints are definitely dog shit now.
I don't
And
know. It's so NFL moves quick.
the Chargers are surprisingly decent, I would say.
Jim Harbaugh
Um,
effect. Harbaugh's a good coach.
I think it's Herbert. I forget Herbert, Russell Wilson, because they count the last time he played, and Jalen Hurts are currently the leaders in most pass attempts without an interception so far, like in a row. I think it's like 100,
Impressive.
or 140, something like that.
Huh.
So, um, We had the Bills beat the Seahawks 31-10. Um, I wasn't too like surprised by this. I thought Seattle's a good team, not a great team. The Bills are a great team, so they beat up on them.
Hey, hats off to you. You got your upset. I did not get mine.
Fair enough. Chiefs took care of the Raiders 27-20. Kind of tight. Gardner Minshew actually played pretty decently until he didn't.
Yeah,
So
it was competitive for like a quarter.
yeah. Um, Broncos beat the Panthers 28-14. Broncos are a weird team. Like they're winning
They're not a good team, but they have a decent record. Like what are they now? They're 5-3, maybe? Am I wrong?
5-3.
Yeah, like they are not a good team at all. And they're somehow 5-3.
Meanwhile, my surprise team Panthers are 1-7. But hey,
I
Bryce Young
don't,
played and he did okay. Threw two picks, threw two touchdowns, but
okay, really setting the
um
bar high.
yeah. Uh the where are we going here? Week 8. Um Cowboys lost to the 49ers 30-24. I really thought the Cowboys were going to be able to win this one, but
They're not a good
they
team.
they did not. Dak is regressed. CD Lamb is their only option. They have nobody else, and they cannot run the ball or stop anyone on defense. Without
It's
Micah,
true.
their defense is horrible right now.
They've got a lot of
They
problems.
do. They do. And then Monday Night Football, the Steelers beat the Giants 26-18. I'd say Russ is their quarterback going forward, and Steelers. I think I don't know if it was just me or you as well, but I said that Mike Tomlin was not going to finish above 500 this year, and shit, they might win the division. That they they actually look
I'm gonna pump my brakes on that one.
defense is good. I know I still think the Ravens will, but they'll probably be a playoff team. I mean, defense is playing well, and if Russ can play decently efficient like this, good.
I'd like to
Good
see a
stuff.
little bit more from them. They have moments, but
George
it's
Pickens is a weird guy too. I don't know what's going on with
he's a
him.
weird guy. Yeah, he's they're gonna try to force feed him the ball after all the drama and everything. I still think they're a very mediocre team, but we'll
Hmm.
see. Russell's only 2 games in.
And then we would be remiss not to mention the ending of the year. The Commanders beat the Chicago Bears 18-15 on a like 54-yard Hail Mary.
Unbelievable.
I was driving home from Maryland and I had it on in my car. Obviously, paying attention to the road,
Of course.
of course. And I saw it and I was like, there's no fucking way. And he just the first of all, I was like, how did he have 10 seconds to throw the ball? Apparently,
Yeah.
was it Montez Sweat wasn't even out there for the Bears? Like your best lineman, you don't even have on the field. Um, and then it reminded me of when Dom McNabb scrambled for like 8 seconds on that. I forget who that was against, but I was like, that's exactly what's happening right here. And then he just chucked it, and Zach Ertz was in that pile. It was like Zach Ertz surrounded by like 45 Chicago Bears. And it was Terry McLaurin in the front for the rebound. And then I forget the receiver who actually caught it in the back in the
Noah
end
Brown.
zone, Noah
Yeah.
Brown. And Bears cornerback who was talking shit during the play to the fans. He's the one that
Oh, I know.
volleyballed it up to the Commanders wide receiver, and they walk off Hail Mary.
Oh, that really, I mean, it was you could like that was a rough ending. That was a rough ending. In a good game. Like that would have been a really impressive win for them. Really gone a long way for Caleb's development. And oh boy, yeah, that was ugly. It wasn't like they just, it wasn't like the DeAndre Hopkins where he just went up and caught it. Like this was just a blown play on their
It was
part.
weird because
Like,
both quarterbacks were pretty iffy, and then when it counted, because Caleb was horse shit first three
yeah.
quarters, and then he kind of like had that touchdown leading drive at the end. Um, and then Daniels, picked away, got enough yards to get a good Hail Mary off, and
I mean, man, the Caleb, that's a big developmental play. That's something you hang your head on. Tough game to start, come in, win the game
yeah,
on the final drive, and then let that all be for naught because Noah Brown caught a Hail Mary.
yeah, I forget what the corner's name is, but man, I didn't even notice until they started showing the replays after the
Oh, the
game,
replay, yeah, I saw it.
and he was just like all the way on the other side of the field. chatting at the fans for like 4 or 5 seconds as the play's going on. Then he turns around and he's like, "Oh, I guess I'll play defense." Runs over, tips the ball into the air to the other team, and man, then he's like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I apologize." Like, yeah, don't be a dumbass. Like, you paid a lot of money to do this. You should focus. Like,
I mean, if you want to talk smack to the crowd, make sure you win the
back
game
it up.
first.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the real moral. You go talk crap to the fans if you want, but win the game first.
But yeah, I mean, Commanders are 6-2, and that was an electric end. Um, as just a fan of football, I mean, that was pretty awesome. But yeah, that is a wrap on week 8, and we can go right into our studs and duds. Obviously, we're both good about the Eagles, so might as well roll into the studs.
Of course, we're in a great mood. You know, where else we want to be? All right. One second. So, kicking off the studs list, we're gonna go. There's a couple new names on this list. You might not know all of them. You know, they be new to your ears.
Okay.
This guy, we touched on this team a little bit. They're like one of the more pleasant surprises, depending on where your expectations were. But young guy kind of came, a little undersized, didn't have the hype of all the other teammates that he played for and all the wide receivers coming out,
Hmm.
but had a nice 6 receptions, 111, two tutties as well, and a nice comfortable win. We're gonna kick it off with the rookie here, Ladd McConkey, coming in at number
Hmm.
3 stud.
Okay.
Nice song. Hey, listen, being
Great
a rookie
name.
always helps. Oh, great name for sure. Being a rookie always helps your chances. I'm partial for the rookies, but I like Ladd. Got him on the fantasy team. He did me well this week, so I had
Oh,
to
so
show him some
that's
love.
why. Yeah, that's why.
It definitely didn't hurt. Moving on to another guy that helped me, selfishly to help me. I took
Hmm.
the fuck New York parlay on Monday and hit pretty
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
Yeah, it was pretty nice. And one guy at one point, I was like, man, they're really going to struggle to cover because they cannot score the ball. They're doing great on defense, but they can just not score. I just need them to score a touchdown. Thankfully, while the offense struggles, Calvin Austin makes up for it. Calvin Austin not only had the big punt return, which kind of the way the game was going, that sealed it right there because the teams were struggling to score. Took
Yeah.
a nice punt return touchdown to the house, but then you said, "No, Tim, I got you. I know it's +6. Let me get you under control," and went and caught a touchdown as well. So Calvin Austin is in that second stud spot, well deserved, and I appreciate him helping me out.
Okay.
Third stud, or no, I'm sorry, first stud here. Guy came out, think the most matchup wise, obviously I think the Eagles win was the most impressive for, where they're at and what it looked like. But going against a division rival, the division rival, I think everyone was about to give the division to, and come out and cook with easily the best game you've had with your new team. 23 of 29, 276 and 4 touchdowns to drop the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who've been just dominating recently. Kirk Cousins, man, he's out there making plays. They had a nice game. Good game for Kurt. It meant a lot. Take the momentum back for the division.
Hmm.
No, no, just not doing it for you.
Not bad. Not bad.
All right, fair enough. Tough crowd. Tough crowd. Because I don't know what it is, but the last couple of weeks, I put more of my energy into the duds because, man, there's been so many just dudful performances. I'm going to kick this off with I did not go with Aaron Rodgers because I figure I would save my rant for when we talked about the Jets, which I've already done. So I don't want to repeat myself.
Hmm.
Moving on. So third dud here. We're going with the guy, Dakota. What's the easiest way to get on the list?
Get fired or lose your job.
There you go. Smart man. So
Hmm.
we're gonna go right to a guy who lost his job and pretty deserving. Maybe he should run some wind sprints while he's on the bench now, because clearly was tired. Clearly doesn't his condition isn't great. So Anthony Richardson, who again, I'm not gonna, kick him under the bus and say this is it and he's a complete bust. But he's gonna be sitting on pine for a good portion of the season now, while Joe Flacco leads his team to the playoffs. So Anthony Richardson really struggled, really tough start to the year. He's third on the dud list.
Fair enough. Well deserved.
Yeah, of course. Moving on, this guy also lost his job, but he lost his job in like the shady way, the respectable veteran way, I would say. Instead of just outright releasing him, which they should have done 2 weeks ago, they decided to put him on the injured reserve for a sudden undisclosed injury.
Hmm.
But when they did that, they did go happen to manage to sign two brand new kickers to the practice squad and hope for the best. Because not only did he miss a field goal, he missed an extra point as well in a horrendous loss for the Jets. He's really, really struggling, man. His career is, or not his career, this season, he's missed five out of the, he has five missed field goals. Oh, I'm sorry, he's missed a field goal in five of the eight games this season.
Dang.
He missed the game, last second game winner. I know it was 50 yards, but dude, everyone hits 50 yards now. That cost him the game against Denver. He's last in NFL kickers with 60% field goal success rate. Like
Hmm.
60%. You know how
Hmm.
bad that is?
I was gonna say kickers are doing well this year. Like
I know
they're
just hearing
nailing
that
shit
out loud is
over
just
Tucker.
like, oh my God. But yeah, missed an extra point, missed a field goal. That was a huge loss. You know what I learned during my research?
What's that?
Greg Zuerlein signed a 2-year extension last week or last year.
He's still
And it
playing?
was, yeah, that's the one on the dud list, you fool. It was the most money ever given to a kicker in Jets team history. And he just took that money and just laughed.
Are we surprised that it's the Jets
No, not at all. That their highest paid kicker in the world in the franchise history is
in the
also the
world?
worst kicker. So yeah, Greg Zuerlein honestly should have been on this list like 4 weeks ago, but I've been kind. But yeah, he's definitely his gone. His job's well gone.
Kicker, a bench quarterback, and a kicker on the list. So who could possibly be number one?
This guy hasn't lost his job, but oh, it is so apparently obvious that it's coming. And you know how the stud list was made up of players that benefited me personally, which is always
Of
a good part.
course,
That's
yeah, yeah.
key. This guy actually benefited me as well, which was
Oh,
very impressive,
hmm,
in his losing effort.
hmm.
Because I mean, I knew that they were bad. Obviously, we just played them, so I knew the team was bad. But man, have you ever seen a Giants game from start to finish? Ignore the Eagles game because obviously you don't pay attention about the Giants because you focus on the Eagles. The Giants are one of the most painful teams to watch play football.
Hmm,
They had 11 penalties,
hmm,
and half of them must have been pre-snap stuff, false starts, illegal shifts, incorrect lineup. But every time they had a big play, it was called dead before the play started. Cherry on top, and this was big because it helped me cover. Brian Daboll, who's Andrew Thomas gets hurt. They
hmm,
signed this guy Hubbard from the Niners practice squad. He's been with
hmm,
the team for 2 days.
hmm.
On the 2-point conversion, I've never seen this play actually work. I don't know why people still do it. They do the full offensive line lined up in front of a wide receiver with just the snapper and the quarterback in where the ball is. No
Hmm.
one's lined up with the ball.
Hmm.
But, that's maybe a good play to run when you've got an offensive line that's been playing with each other for quite some time. Maybe
Yeah.
not with two guys you just got into the building because they snapped the ball, the offensive lineman didn't move, and neighbors got crushed, and they did not get the 2-point conversion, and they helped Tim cover comfortably. But man, it's the pre-snap penalties that's just coaching. It's just really bad coaching.
Hmm.
Daniel Jones stinks. The offensive line's not good, but just the play calls and the pre-snap penalties, 11, way too much. Brian Daboll's days are pretty much numbered at this point, but he's our number one coach.
Numbered. Wow.
Dude,
I
he's
don't think he's gonna get fired, but I think his seat's getting
what's your
a little warm.
reasoning? What's your reasoning for keeping him? Because you clearly did not watch that Monday Night Football game, man. And I tell you, they were such a bad coach team. It was obvious.
I mean, offensively, they don't have talent
It,
anywhere.
it's
Neighbors is the
the
only bright spot on that team offensively. Their defense is got some playmakers. They're solid, but offensively, they are dog water.
yeah, but you know what? But what is Dable? He's a offensive coach.
I mean, yeah, but I don't name another wide receiver on the Giants besides Malik Neighbors,
Wandell Robinson.
besides Wan'Dale Robinson.
I think Darius Slayton's still there.
Pretty sure he's on. Oh yeah, one of the Giants, former Giants, is on the Bucks. I forget who that is.
Yeah, see, they just named two of them there.
All right,
Tyrone Tracy looks great.
Tracy looks solid, but their line's not good. I mean, they have one good lineman and Andrew Thomas, but beyond that,
But
and Daniel Jones is so iffy. Like sometimes he looks like he could be something, and most of the time he looks like he's not a starter in this league. So
you know what though? I don't know the number, but I'm telling you, there was at least five or six pre-snap penalties. Like I get it happens, illegal shifts, false starts.
Hmm.
They had so many, so many. Just really, really. I mean, you say their defense is good. They gave up 167 yards on the ground. They benched Deontay Banks in the middle of the game because the guy was getting cooked.
Hmm.
I don't know. The 2-point conversion in itself was a dumb decision to go for two. The play they came up with was even dumber.
Yeah.
Watch one of these terrible Giants games, and you'll see that they are just such a
I
badly
mean,
coached team.
the fact that the Giants were even on prime time, and the fact that the Cowboys
That's
were once again on
disgusting.
prime time, I'm like, give me a break.
But you know what? Daylight savings. So I was on that and the World Series, and the fuck you New York parlay hit.
Like, well, there you go. All right, it's good list there. Some nice variety for sure. All right, we got some too much whiz. So starting off, I kind of mentioned this earlier when we were talking about the Rams, but currently the Cardinals, 49ers, and Seattle Seahawks are all 4-4, and the Rams are 3-4. So too much whiz. The Niners are not going to win this division,
Not buying it. They'll win.
even with all the
They're
injuries.
I mean, they're coming back. Ayuk's not coming back, but McCaffrey will be back.
Hmm.
Um, the Lafunga, the safety will be back. A lot of these guys are coming back. Ayuk's the only one that's not coming back. They'll be fine.
Okay. Second point.
Okay.
Too much whiz. The next head coach to be fired in season will be Dennis Allen of the Saints.
Oh, this one's tough because I mean, Daboll's got to be in that conversation, and so does Dougie P, unfortunately.
Hmm.
I just Now, you know what? I think it's going to be Dable. Because look at the Saints. Look at when things completely fell apart. Derek Carr got hurt. Like I know that the Saints stink, but Spencer Rattler's out there right now, and he's a rookie. He's not very good. They know he's not the future. The Giants don't have any injuries. They're playing with everyone.
Hmm.
They spent a ton of money on Brian Burns. They sent, they made the big trade for Burns and gave him a ton of money. They spent a ton of money on Dexter Lawrence. They brought back Daniel Jones. They let leave. Like these moves are like a win now kind of team moves. The Saints are stuck with a backup quarterback. They're hurt. They weren't great last year. The Giants are lying to themselves, but they're in win now mode, and they're not even close. I just think you watch that game and you'll know exactly what I'm talking about.
I don't know. The internet is saying it would take something drastic for the Giants to fire Dable at this time.
That painful loss on Monday night was pretty drastic.
All right.
But I mean, just like, all right, who's more likely to finish? Let's say top five draft pick. Who's more likely to get it, the Saints or the Giants?
Saints.
Yeah,
Ah,
I
yeah,
disagree with you there. Remember, Derek Carr's out. He will come back.
fair enough. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, there you go.
And then my final too much whiz. I got to paint a little bit of a picture for you. So
Okay.
the year is oh, my mic's falling. The year is 2008.
Oh, good time. I was in middle school.
We both were, yes. Um, the New York Jets acquired a former Green Bay Packer quarterback named Brett Favre. Might have heard of him.
Okay.
In 2008, in his first year with the Jets, Brett Favre, in 16 games, threw for 3,400 yards, 22 touchdowns,
Okay.
and the Jets went 9-7.
Okay.
Similar, the Jets of the modern era traded for a Packers quarterback named Aaron Rodgers.
Okay.
Currently, they are 2-6, and Rodgers is on pace, if it was a 16 game season, to throw for 3,700 yards and 22 touchdowns.
Yeesh.
So, too much whiz. Brett Favre did more for the Jets than Aaron Rodgers will have.
Oh my God. Wait, yeah. What has Rodgers done? blow out his Achilles and then turn this team into a clown show? Yeah, right. Yeah, not even close.
I
Not even
thought,
close.
I mean, Favre didn't really do anything for the Jets, but
They went to the like NFC Championship game, didn't they?
did they?
They were
But
respectable. Let's put it this way,
mm,
because every week now they are a comedy show.
that's true. All right. Brett Favre confirmed better Jet than Aaron Rodgers. So you heard it here first.
Not even close.
Wow. All right. On to game picks from last week. Tim, we've been on a roll. We've had another positive week
That's what we do.
of game
How we do.
picks. The first few weeks are always rough, but now we're
We found
locked
our
in.
way.
We did. So I was, let me see if I can do math correctly. One, two, three, four, five. So you came in last, 10 and 6 though this week. 10 and 6, very respectable.
Damn, and last thing is tough.
And I tied for first at 11 and 5 with our guest picks, which was Big Country, aka Sam Ryan, doing his weekly or yearly appearance on the pod for some guest picks. But 11 and 5 for Sam. Pretty good stuff. Um, Overall, I am 74 and 48 in first place. You are second at 70 and 51. And then the guest picks are 68, 54. So pretty tight still.
Yeah, it's not bad. We're where we need to be. I can make a good comeback.
Some executive decisions. Um, but yeah, so we're rolling, so you can somewhat rely on us for your parlays. But man, I was sick though last on the Eagles game. I was a Saquon Barkley touchdown away from 480 dollars. And he literally got to the 1 yard line and then Jalen's like, it's my ball.
Oh yeah, that was
Because
tough.
I had
Yeah.
AJ Brown covered his yards, Devontae scored a touchdown, I had Saquon cover his yards, I had a Joe Burrow interception.
Mm.
Everything was cooking, and then Saquon didn't score. So you win
Yeah,
some, you lose some.
that's a tough one. I listen, I'm 1-1 on the season. It's tough for me in the out here in the UK, but
That's
the
true.
fucking New York parlay came through. While we're on this one, real quick, because I had to do the deep diving. So 11 of those penalties, like I said, the Giants had 11 penalties. You would normally just rationally think most of these must have been on defense, right? Because that's what defenses do.
Sure.
9 of these penalties were on offense. And you want to know this? 7 of them were pre-snap.
Hmm.
You had 3 illegal formations. You had 2 false starts, a delay of game, and an ineligible man downfield. That's just bad coaching. Bad
Hmm.
offensive coaching. This
It's not
offense,
good. It's not
Daniel
good.
Jones stinks, Dable stinks, they all stink. He just needs to go.
Hmm.
They need to move on, and that's why he's the first one to go.
All right. We shall see. Moving on to this week's game picks. So starting off Halloween Thursday, we have the Houston Texans at the New York Jets, and I'm only going to pick the Jets because this game is literally their season.
You're picking the Jets. No way.
If they
No,
lose
no,
this
no, no.
game, they are absolutely done for. If they win, they have a sliver of hope, but
Nope.
I think Houston's been iffy. I think this could be a good game for them to lose, and then they kind of evaluate what's going on with them, then kind of rebound and get a get right game next week. But
No. See, Halloween, there's nothing more Halloween than having a public funeral for 10 million people. The
so
clown show comes to I mean, the clown show's already over, but the clown show just going to get worse.
the Rogers Clown Show on Halloween night.
Yeah, it'll be great.
All right. Then we start off Sunday, 1 o'clock. Dallas in a 1 o'clock game is weird. Dallas at the Falcons. Who do you like?
Man, I really don't think Dallas is good. The more I watch them, the more I just don't think they're good. I think they have CeeDee Lamb on offense, and that's it. And they're too hurt on defense. Give me the Falcons.
I almost want to pick the Cowboys just because the last 2 times I picked them, they've lost. Um, and they gotta win. They're also kind of in must-win mode now. So you know what? I have some games in hand. I'll take Dallas here. Um, Next game we have the Dolphins at the Bills. I don't see the Bills slipping up
Oh,
here. I'm gonna take the Bills.
You know what? This is the second week in the row the Bills are playing one of my preseason teams. They burned me on the Seahawks. I'm not using the Cardinals game too much as a gauge because Tua was just back. I still buy into the Dolphins though. I think the Dolphins once Tua was doing well, they were fine. I think
Yeah.
Tua comes back second game and they'll be okay. I'll take Miami.
Okay. Interesting. We got the Raiders at the Bengals. Tim, what do we call this kind of game?
That's a get right game right there.
I think we're all in the Bengals there. Um, Chargers at the Browns. Do we get Winston Magic Part 2?
Let's do it. I'm all for it. Ever since he gave that like MLK speech after Watson went down, I'm all for it. I'm all for
He
Winston.
he also quoted Eminem. He's just he's a character. I never liked him when he was at FSU, and then obviously with the Bucks, I thought he was. I just didn't think he was good. But like, man, his character is you can't lie. He's a comedian. He's got a
He's great.
personality.
But you look back on his time. I mean, I can't remember all of it. I remember he stole the crab legs from Publix, and then he said like, whatever he said in the rotunda that was like ridiculous. I forget what it was.
He made a W with his hand, and so we got to eat this W. When he
Yeah,
was at
so like
FSU, he suited up to go out and play, even though he was suspended.
like in hindsight, like yeah, in the moment everyone ripped him, but like he was just being a college kid, like messing around. Don't act like that Publix wasn't giving crab legs to everyone else.
Hmm.
And you know what? James Winston was getting crab legs too. That it was just the
Oh
new
yeah,
employee on the day stopped
that
over
was
them.
part of
They
his
didn't know.
NIL before the NIL.
Yeah, yeah, they did. The new guy on at the register didn't know.
All right. Yeah, fuck it, why not? I'll take the Browns too. Um, because I still don't think I think the Chargers are a mediocre team. I don't think they're gonna do anything crazy. Oh, here, toilet bowl game of the week. Patriots at the Titans.
Ugh. You know what? Rolling with the Patriots though. They got the momentum.
Yeah, I think I'll have to take the Pats as well.
I'd like
Just
to see Drake May play because this team stinks
got
around
a
him, but
concussion, I
this,
think.
yeah, he probably doesn't. It's nothing like a Jacoby Brissett and Mason Rudolph matchup.
Tim, we have another one of these, what we call a get right game. The Denver Broncos at the Baltimore Ravens. I'm taking the
Oh
Ravens.
yeah, yeah, I'm taking the Ravens. Yeah,
Uh, Pretty interesting divisional game. Would love to see one of these teams not win, but Washington Commanders at the New York Giants. Do you like?
I mean, I've been going on a tirade about how bad the Giants are for the last half hour.
Yeah, that'd be pretty bad for you to switch up now. So I'm
Yeah,
also going to take the Commanders. I could see off the high of that last game that they fall, but I think they'll probably take care of the Giants. I don't. They haven't played
Giants
yet,
will
have they?
have three false starts, two delay games, and an illegal shift.
Hmm. Calling it now. Put that on your parlay.
Yeah, there you go.
We got Saints at the Panthers. Hmm. Another toilet bowl game.
Oh yeah, because the Saints have been really rough. They're tough to pick.
I think by law I still have to ride with the Panthers until the season's
It's
over.
true.
So I'll take Carolina.
I guess is Derek Carr's not playing, is he?
I don't think so.
I don't know. This is one of those games I think just Alvin Kamara is just going to win by himself.
Okay. So you're on the Saints. Next game. So this was supposed to be Sunday night and they flexed it to 4 o'clock. I kind of like Sunday night football. It's like a nice, like, I don't know.
I'm okay with it
Well,
being
you are,
flexed.
yeah. But
Yeah.
so yes, we have the Jacksonville Jaguars and Dougie P coming to Philadelphia to face the Kelly Green Philadelphia Eagles. We were 2-0 last year with Kelly Green. I don't see that changing. Go Birds.
Go Birds.
All right. Next game, Chicago Bears at the Cardinals.
Chicago Bears against Cardinals.
That's what I
That's
said.
I know I'm thinking in my head. To be fair, that's the last wasn't no, I'm sorry, I'm thinking of the Bills. Um the Bears had a huge let me down game, but the Cardinals had a big like I think they get a little hungover from that big win they just had. I'm going to take the Bears. I think they come back with vengeance.
Um, I still don't think the Cardinals are great. So, I mean, obviously they're not great. I still don't think they're very good. Um, yeah, I'm kind of with you there. I think I'll take the Bears. I think the Bears are a fringe wild card team, but um, Lions at the Packers. This is a huge game. I gotta go Lions
Jordan
though.
Love's status
Gotta go
is,
Lions.
yeah, I'm
I-
going to take the Lions too.
If I was the Packers, I'd let Jordan Love sit because they have a bye week the next week. So just let him recover
Yeah,
whatever
but
injury he has,
dude,
and
this is
then
a huge game. They're 6-1 and 6 and
yeah. But
2. Divisional matchup.
Malik Willis has been solid. He's not been a problem
If
for them.
you think Malik Willis is going to beat the Lions, you're insane.
Okay.
This is the game you
I'm
roll out
picking the
Jordan Love.
Lions,
Even
but
even if Jordan Love's a little banged up, you roll him out there and just be like, all right, well, you got to buy next week. Let's get a win now. This
mm,
is huge. I will take the Lions. I think they look like the best team in football.
yeah, I think they're pretty good. They scare me. Um, Rams at the Seahawks, huge divisional game.
Yeah, man, the Rams seem like they're cooking. I know the Seahawks were my preseason team, but the Rams looked good off Thursday night. They've had the long week. I'll take the Rams.
Just to be a little different, in Seattle, I'll take the Seahawks off a embarrassing loss to the Bills to rebound. And then Sunday night we have Colts at the Vikings. I'm not sure why this was flexed to Sunday
That
night,
was
but
what we got flexed out of?
the Anthony
What?
Richardson gassed out of breath show, but
Sam Darnold versus Joe Flacco is what we got flexed out of.
yeah. I
Oh
don't know,
boy. I
bro.
mean, I'm happier with the time, but jeez, man. On a Dougie P return game too. No respect. The Vikings got to bounce back. This is do or die. If they lose this one, then the questions and doubts will really creep in.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go Minnesota at home, take the Vikings. And then Tampa Bay at KC, Monday Night Football. I mean, hey, Baker's still playing well, but I mean, he's yardage and touchdown wise, he's looking good, but he's interceptions are getting up there now.
Well, he's got
Um,
no one to throw the ball to. Evans
yeah,
has got to wear
so
out.
I'm taking KC. They I don't think they're gonna go undefeated the whole year, but they might only lose one or two games. Their schedule is pretty easy the rest of the way.
I'm not gonna lie. What scares me the most about KC is they're just winning ugly. You could say the weakest part of their team right now is Patrick Mahomes, which is kind of insane.
That is very insane. But and they just
He's
traded
he's
for
what's holding them back.
the Patriots linebacker, so and they have D Hop. So if everything gets going, yeah.
Hey, whenever Patrick Mahomes is holding your team back, then yeah, I think you'll be all right.
All right, and that's a wrap on week 9. And then just final notes. Of course, we have our power rankings, and my initial thought was that there's going to be a little bit of movement. So I'll tell you my list, and then you tell me how you feel about that. I know I agree. I think the Lions are the best team, but I think we have to let the Chiefs still
Can't
be
beat the
number
Chiefs.
one. They have
Can't
to be
beat the
number one.
Chiefs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Chiefs at 1, move the Lions up to 2.
Yeah.
I say put the Bills at 3 and drop the Ravens to 4.
I think that's respectable. They
And
haven't they
then
haven't played yet, have they?
no, do they play each other this year?
Maybe not. But yeah, no, I'm in
Okay.
favor of that.
Um, Packers at 5.
Yeah, I mean, take away the one loss to, well, I mean, I think they lost week 2 without Love. So
Yeah.
take away the first one and then they were pretty good. I'm okay with the Packers.
So then I got so this one I'm contemplating 6 and 7. Or let's okay. I'll just say 6 through 10 because this order I'm not sure about. 6 through 10, we got Vikings, Commanders, Eagles, Texans, Steelers. Where do you put them?
I think the Texans are the 6.
I don't know.
Yeah, but
Not
you look at the other ones, I've been more confident in the Texans. I think they're more consistent. Hate or like being a homer, the Eagles still haven't looked great in every game. I'm not buying Pittsburgh yet.
I'm not putting the Eagles at 6, but I don't know about
The doubts are starting to creep in on the Vikings. And then Commanders again. I think Jane Daniels is good. I think the team's very good, but I'd say Texans, Commanders, Eagles, Vikings, Steelers.
I don't hate that. You said Texans, Commanders, Eagles, Vikings.
Eagles, Vikings, Steelers.
I can get behind that.
Yeah.
All right. So that'll be our power rankings. And then any for the Eagles, you get, let's say, one player you want them to trade for in a dream scenario, and one player you realistically think, or position you realistically think they do trade for before the deadline.
Man, there's really not much out there now. I feel like the trades have happened so quickly.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, things are starting to shape up a little bit more. We're starting to find certain teams that suck and certain times that aren't. I
Hmm.
like that Alarge guy, however you say his name.
From the
Um,
Browns? Is that where he's?
no, from the Giants. There's no way they would
Oh,
trade.
yeah, no, he's not coming here.
But I like him. He's a good player. I don't know. I've heard his name bounce around a couple times. I don't know
Hmm.
why. Um,
It's because of the Giants.
yeah, edge rusher. That's the biggest thing. Huff's not doing it.
No,
Brandon Graham's our best edge
he's
rusher.
still.
That's a
I still see
problem.
Huff on the ground 20% of the time.
Yeah, it's a problem. I mean, I'm living with the fact that we're not gonna have a wide receiver three like we normally do. I'm okay with that. Just give me another edge rusher. It doesn't have to be a superstar. Just get like a solid guy. I'd take even like a Zaire Smith. I think he's on the Browns.
Yes,
I
He's
like a
he's a little
Zaire
older, but
Smith.
I'd take him. Yeah, I'd take. He was a beast
Give
a
it a
couple years ago.
rotational guy.
Yeah,
That's all you need.
I think realistically, he's an option. Hopefully, it doesn't turn into like a Robert Quinn-esque trade where he just disappears. But
Well, I mean, trade deadlines in the middle of the season. I think that's always a possibility. There's a reason these guys are available.
also fair. Dream scenario. I think Myles Garrett's untouchable, but
Absolutely not.
I'd love to see Max Crosby in an
That ain't
Eagles
happening
uniform.
either.
That's a dream scenario. So never know. But yeah, so Eagles Jags, 4 o'clock, be there, be square, and they're wearing Kelly Green, so should be a fun time.
Gilbert,
Go Birds. Peace.
peace.